Okay, and now we just have a quick 15-second delay, which Facebook always does. No worries about that. I'm going to get us going on our other screen here too, because I'm fancy that way.
Wow.
Not really, but I try. Okay, perfect. And we are live. Welcome, Mighty Mystery fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I'm thrilled to be hosting the incredible Samantha Norman, author of Death and the Maiden, all the way from the UK today. Samantha, welcome. Tell us about your book.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, it was a huge sort of labor of love because it was finishing off a series that my dead mother wrote. In fact, that's how I got into writing novels in the first place. She died halfway through a book, so I finished a standalone novel that she was writing when she died. And then I was asked to complete her series, the Mistress of the Art of Death series. So there was a sort of a lot riding on it. So it's kind of a relief to have it done.
Yes. Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm so sorry for the loss of your mother. That's such a hard and painful thing, and it's a club that nobody wants to be a member of.
Oh, no.
I am also a member, having lost my mother, and it's just it is a strange and terrible thing. And this is such a beautiful way to honor her memory, her legacy, her 5-book series, her other books. I mean, to honor her as your mother and as the author that she was. So what a beautiful, loving act of service this is.
Well, I was really grateful for it because it meant that I didn't lose her for a long time. You know, I was sitting with her and I could hear her thoughts, and I'm not sort of, I don't want to be all woohoo about it, but it was extraordinary. A link with her still.
And did you speak with her about the direction that she saw the books going, or were you just know her so well that you were able to do that?
I knew her so well, and she taught me to write, so we have a sort of similar voice, so that wasn't too difficult. And but she hadn't spoken about the book before she died, so actually I thought that one that I finished for her was the continuation of the series. I had no idea that it was a standalone, so it was complete. Oh my goodness, but it was a gift, as you say. It was a privilege to be able to do it. And I have a sister who doesn't write, and she didn't do it. So I think it was tougher for her almost because I had mum longer, really.
Right, because you could feel her there, and you could channel her voice and continue her work and do this for her and with her in collaboration with her. And I see both of your names are on the cover, which is again such a beautiful way to honor her.
Yeah, I couldn't leave her off really, but she didn't actually write any of that. It was all me.
Exactly. Well, this is lovely. Speaking of the cover, tell us about this cover. So we have the skull over here. We have the hand. Did you have creative input to this cover? Was it a total surprise?
Really? I mean, I've got a great publisher, and they the last one had a fantastic cover, so I was thrilled with that. But it sort of encapsulates it. It's it's actually a lot of death in it. There's a serial killer, set in the 12th century, so it's all hence the sort of rather historical aspect of the cover, or very. And it's so
the book takes place in 1191. How do you research a book? How do you research that time?
Well, I spent a lot of time in this. There's this wonderful institution over here called the London Library, where you can access any book in the world, and it's beautiful. It's really old world, all these book stacks that you wonder about, and that lovely smell of old leather and paper, and it's just the most beautiful place. So I just grabbed everything they had and read it, and sort of immersed myself in the period and the London Library.
Oh, that's so magical. I absolutely love that. I want to pause and just welcome everyone on Facebook. Welcome our Mighty Mystery fans, friends, community. We love you. So let us know, say hi, let us know where you're watching from today. I love the only good part of this pandemic is that we've become such a global community, and I love hearing where everyone is from. So we have Samantha all the way from the UK. We have me here in Boston, Massachusetts. Tell us where you're all watching. Gail says, what a pleasant surprise. Hi, Gail. Good to have you back, one of our top community members. Welcome, Nancy. Welcome, Carol, Sylvia, Shaw, Sue, and all the others who are watching. Anissa, welcome. So let us know what questions, you all know how this works if you've been here before. And if you're new here, here's how it works. I am thrilled to provide you direct access to the author. So whatever questions you want to ask about writing, about the mystery genre, about Samantha's book, about her process, just let's get into it. Let's talk all about the mystery things. And I will be guiding that conversation. So Gail saying hi from Framingham, hi from Omaha, Nebraska. Oh my gosh, we've got people from all over. I absolutely love this. Welcome, Charlotte. Let us know where you're watching from and what questions you have for Samantha. So the Daily News newspaper here in New York says that this is medieval mystery writing at its best. What an incredible review for you to get, Samantha.
It's so lovely. I mean, it's just very flattering.
Yes, absolutely incredible. And so tell us, how long did it take you to write this book?
I think it was about 2 years. Well, because Sarah, that the process is quite, long, even when you're not involved in it. So the writing took a while. The research took a long time. The writing took a while. And then I have a very exacting editor and agent. And so I'd send them off drafts. But I guess it was probably about, 2 years, I should think.
Oh, that seems fast to me. That's amazing.
You think? Yeah, because this killed me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is.
I got very fat and very unfit. I'm trying to claim it back now.
Yeah, that's just all of us during the pandemic. I feel like I'm gaining that quarantine 14 to 19. And what can you do? Andrea would like to know, does this book wrap up the series? So I'll let you answer that first. She has a two-part question.
Okay. Well, yes, it does. It's Adelia's daughter is the main character, and it does wrap up the series, I guess. I mean, yeah. Well, I think it does so far. I'm doing a modern thriller now, so it certainly does for a while, and I think I'm hoping that fans of Mum's series will be satisfied at the wrapping up. But I actually really miss the 12th century and the characters, so I would like to go back at some stage. I said never when I finished that one, but maybe.
I hear you cracking the door open to that possibility, Samantha.
Yeah.
So I guess we never know.
I put it to bed about a year ago, and now I'm rather beginning to miss it. So.
Oh, I love that. And then Andrea's second part of her question said, do you have novels of your own that you're working on, and what are they? So I heard you reference a thriller. Tell us about that.
That's a very nice question. Yes, I do. I am working at the moment. I've just started, so I haven't got a huge amount to say about it, but I'm working on a modern supernatural-ish thriller that I've wanted to write forever. So I'm doing that.
Oh, excellent. Perfect. Gail says she's having her English cup of tea right now. This is terrific. Thank you so much. Gail, I love that. We should all be having tea as we look at Samantha sitting there in her beautiful glass. Are you in a greenhouse? Where are you?
It's sort of conservatory. It's the quietest bit of my house. So
I love that. So we can all have tea with Samantha in her conservatory. Oh, absolutely lovely. This is feeling so English of us. Very fancy. I love it. Okay, so you said you've been wanting to write the book you're working on currently for a long time, but you put it aside to finish
Yeah.
this labor of love. And I think what's really interesting is that, the medieval ages, not a great age for women, not a ton of women's rights. And so I love that you have written an empowered female character who is solving crimes and solving, the string of deaths of girls turning up murdered.
Well, it wasn't, as you say, it wasn't a great time for women, but there were some incredible women in the 12th century who did extraordinary things. I mean, in the book, Eleanor of Aquitaine crops up. I mean, she was remarkable and powerful and strong. And, you know, I think she crossed the Alps when she was something like 75. You know, I mean, a huge journey in, you know, bitter conditions and stuff. She was indomitable. And there were plenty of other women. And in fact, my mother's heroine, Delia, was a graduate of a medical school in Salerno in Italy, where they actually taught women medicine. And it was quite sophisticated medicine, you know, and they allowed them to practice. So there was a lot more, it's much more progressive, in fact, the 12th century than you think. And it was a sort of birth of modern thinking and all sorts of, and the common law in England. And, you know, it was an incredible time, actually.
Wow. Now, that medical school where women were allowed to go that you referenced, is that a true thing? Is that from?
Yeah, it is a true thing. Yeah. And they taught women, which was, you know, just didn't happen elsewhere. So, yeah.
Wow. I had no idea that there was a school who was taking female students, let alone a medical school. That's incredible. Absolutely.
And they used some really advanced medicine as well. You know, it was quite extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. And I love how you wove that in, you know, into this, you know, into your process and into the book, so that real life characters like Eleanor of Aquitaine, like this medical school, can appear in a work of fiction. So how many, well, first of all, let's talk about the title. Did it arrive as a stroke of genius? Was this number 101? Did you know immediately? What's the story behind this title?
It's a great title, I think. It's not, I think there are quite a lot of, I think there's a play, isn't there, Death and the Maiden? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, and there's also, but it sort of just perfectly suits the plot. And actually my agent thought of it. So yeah.
Oh, wow. And did you have a working title that you then had to part ways with, or?
I did. It was very dull. My working title was called The Fens Book, because it's set in the Fens in England, a lot of it. And I'm really rubbish at thinking up titles. So that's what it was, you know, book.
Now, Samantha, tell us about your writing practice. So you're an author in your own right, and you've written this for your, you know, to complete your mother's series. So what's it like? Do you write every day? Do you rise with the sun? Are you a late night owl writer? What does it look like, your writing practice?
Oh, I like to write in the morning. That's kind of my best time. So I am an early riser. I go late to bed. Early to bed, actually. No, I like to be in bed by about 9 o'clock. I mean, especially with COVID.
That's right.
There's nothing to do. So yes, the mornings are my best time. I'm full of energy then, and by the sort of mid-afternoon, I'm running out. So I don't have a strict sort of word count, and I don't have strict timings, but I do make sure that when I'm, you know, especially if I've got a deadline, I will present myself to my computer first thing, and I will sit there until I really feel like I'm going to sort of drop off my perch.
So you just write until you can't go anymore, and you don't worry about word count. You don't worry about you know, hours in the seat or anything.
No, I don't. But when I was finishing that book, I was writing virtually all the hours God sent. It was very unlike me. I'm quite lazy.
So it was almost this energy is flowing through.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Oh, I love that. And would you say that writing comes easily to you, or are you sort of Hemingway, struggling, clawing your way through the desert?
I really struggle. I'm slow, and it doesn't come easily. It doesn't just sort of suddenly flow out. I kept waiting for when it would. You know, it was just like a muscle that you flex. It doesn't happen for me. So no, I have to really, really work at it. And that business, as I know you'll understand, where you've got some beautiful image in your head, and you know how it's going to be in your head, and you get it down on the paper, and it's just this sort of mess that you've got to, I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't come easily to me either. And I think there needs to be more conversation about that, because I think that there's this illusion that it does come easily. And it doesn't, at least for me. And so, yeah, I feel exactly the same way. And thank you for saying that. So Sylvia would like to know, Samantha, what books are on your nightstand these days? Ooh, good question, Sylvia.
Oh my goodness. I am, at the moment, I am reading the J.K. Rowling, or the G.K. Galbraith novel, the latest in the Cormoran Strike series. And what else? I'm reading I'll Be Gone in the Dark, about the East area. I'm reading a lot about serial killers because I'm writing about serial killers. So I've got all sorts of little things on the go. And then I'm going to be reading, I think the next one will probably be the latest Martin Amis, because I love him. So I've got quite a lot of reading material at the moment.
Oh, that's fabulous. And I love that Michelle McNamara, I'll Be Gone in the Dark. And actually there's a TV series out about it. Isn't it so good?
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my gosh, who else is watching that? Tell us from the audience, who else is watching that? I can't watch it at night though, because it's so scary. It's really disturbing. You know, how she hunted him down and how it started to affect her.
He killed and raped all those women and was allowed to carry on for decades, wasn't it? It's an extraordinary story.
Yeah, exactly.
I fell in love with her. Thought she was great.
I fell in love with her too. She's absolutely incredible. And again, I think just her dedication to the practice. The other thing that's really amazing is it really shows the power of the written word. This guy was only caught because of her book, because of her research. And here he is, in his 80s now, but they finally caught him after decades of getting away with it only because of her, which is absolutely, absolutely amazing. And just speaks to the power of writing. Gail would like to know, what's it like living in England right now? Yeah, what's it like over there with the pandemic?
That's a good question. Grim as anything. I don't suppose you want me to get political, but I can't stand this government. And it's very depressing. I mean, as it is everywhere in the world, it is an awful place to be at the moment. And I would leave, except there's nowhere to go. Back in time, maybe the 12th century, I think was probably maybe even easier than today.
Yeah. So does it feel, so it doesn't feel like life is back to normal? Is everyone wearing masks or what's
yeah, we are wearing masks. Everybody's encouraged to. I mean, not you don't have to walking around the streets, but any shop, any bar, anyway. We're waiting, I think, to hear whether we're going to be locked down again completely. And it's just everybody's very depressed, actually. I was thinking that today. There's just a gloom over us, and we've got, because we don't, not only Brexit or COVID rather, and all the sort of economic hardship that will result from that. We've also got Brexit, which will be a disaster, and so that's tough. It's not great to be British at the moment, I must say.
Yeah, I totally hear you, and I think I'm actually curious what Gail says. So it's the same as here, the same as everywhere. Gail, I totally agree. It feels very grim, and it really feels like for me, it just really started to hit me the last 2 weeks. It started to wear on me. It's like, this is long and I'm exhausted and I do feel a little depressed and a lot anxious, and it's really hard. I think I'm struggling right now, and I think everyone's struggling right now, and it feels very, very hard right now for all of us.
It is, isn't it? I mean, the only good thing is that we're all sort of in it together, and I think this sort of connection is lovely, because you realize that there's other people out there, but it is a very isolating process, this whole thing.
It's very isolating. Gail says, you have Brexit, we have an election. Exactly.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's so.
Are you very nervous?
Yes, I'm very nervous. I actually voted early. So I voted on Sunday night, and I got to, so we're having early voting here in Boston from the 17th through the 30th. And I actually got to vote in Fenway Park, which is the oldest baseball stadium in the country and actually the world. So it was built in 1912, and it's very iconic. So it hasn't been updated unlike some of the other stadiums with, the AstroTurf and, sort of the dome. We don't have a dome. We sit out in the rain. done it out. And to go there and to go into, you know, historic, iconic Fenway Park and to be able to cast my ballot there in such a consequential election in such a historic, iconic place, I cried. I actually cried, and I cried off and on because it just was so magical.
And it's so big, this one too, isn't it? There's an awful variety.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels like the world is so perilous and so precarious and everything feels so intense right now. So I'm always sort of like one news headline away from a good cry.
I know. It's good to cry. You've got to let it out.
Exactly. Let it out. Exactly. Gail's saying that's very cool that I got to vote at Fenway. Oh, thank you, Gail. She voted by mail. It really was cool because afterward they let you in the stadium and to stand in a space that holds 38,000 people, but there was only me and my husband, and to stand there in that silence. Wow. It was, I mean, I have goosebumps even thinking about it. It was so magical. It was really special. And to be able to, you know, to cast my ballot and to use my voice and to vote for a better future, it felt very, very powerful.
There's some controversy about the ballot, that they're not going to let them count or something. Is that right? Or?
Yes, we're having a lot of issues over here with voter suppression, and the ballots do count. It is totally safe to vote by mail. It's totally safe to vote early, but some people are spreading vicious rumors that that's not the case, and it is. And of course, those are the people who don't want people voting. So voting for change. So that's what's going on over here. But, you know, I think it's really important. I'm so glad that this question was asked. Thank you, Gail, for asking this question, because it's so good to hear how Samantha's doing in England. Like, how is that? How are we doing here in Boston? How are we doing here in the US? Let's all talk about it, because I think there's so much pressure to be okay. And I actually think it's okay to not be okay.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you just have to cave in and say, no, I'm really not.
Exactly. No, I'm really not. Exactly. And I know my biggest solace through this whole pandemic will be curling up with a good mystery, my little fluffy dog, and a cup of tea. And that's how I've gotten through, and that's how I'm going to get through. And you know what? I'm a voracious reader, but the only thing I've been able to read during the pandemic is mysteries, because they're so fast. They keep my attention.
They're good, aren't they? And they don't sort of take you too deep into sort of, Exactly.
Oh, this is so lovely. Gail saying that part of my Zoom talks is to help us all get through this. Yay! And having special authors on who can share what's going on with them and tell us about their work and their art and their beautiful books, and to give us this food for the mind and the sustenance for the spirit. So thank you, Gail, and everyone who's watching, and Samantha for being here with us. Samantha, so one last question. What's one thing you want people to walk away from this book feeling? What do you want to leave people with?
Oh, I just really want them to be entertained and to care about the characters. And if I can do that, then I'll be very, very happy.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Well, I know we do care about the characters because you care about the characters, and that comes through as we read about Ali and her adventures in 1191 England in the medieval world. Again, New York Daily News calling this medieval mystery writing at its best. Huge congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And this book is available everywhere you can buy books, and through our special partnership with bookshop.org, which supports independent bookstores. It's on sale today. I'll post the comment in the link. I'll put the link in the comments. Sylvia saying, what a lovely interview. So I just want to thank you so much, Sylvia. And I want to thank you, Samantha Norman, for joining us here today. It has been such a pleasure seeing you in your beautiful conservatory.
Come over one day. Have tea with me.
As soon as you open up the borders, I will be on a plane and bring my little cup over there and have tea with you. I would love that. And please come back and talk to us when you're done your next supernatural thriller. I'd love to have you back.
Thank you so much. It was really lovely to meet you and to talk to you, and everybody who sort of chipped in with questions. You were lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mighty Mystery fans. Gail saying thank you. Thank you. Everybody saying thank you. Oh, we're getting lots of hearts on Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I love my mystery fans. They are the best. And Samantha, again, thank you so much. It's been so lovely to have you. We'll see you back next time here on A Mighty Mystery.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.